On here? Hey, everybody. Every day is a new day, so we're still just trying to figure out all of our, things. Welcome to the sketch brunch. We have Dave Crosland, which you can see his artwork, but he is currently grabbing some booze.
We'll do it live.
I, on the other hand, already have my booze. Cheers. Crosland, cheers. To the lovely Nicole in the other room. Crosland is still figuring out his stuff. Let's look at his art. Just look up there. Look at this. It's just like a sketch of the guy. Hi, Crosland.
Right.
We're live.
What? Are we live?
We're live. Say hi to the world.
Hey, people.
There we
How's
are.
it going?
What are you drinking, sir?
Today I am drinking some delicious sake
Well, let's have at it. We need a toast.
from my brothers in the East. Salud. Here, let me get this open.
Nice. Thanks, everybody, for
Thank my
joining
friend
us.
Andy for dropping this off earlier this week.
Nice.
Cheers.
Salud.
And a happy kampai to everyone out there watching.
Nice. So today is going to be a super special kind of chill day, and we are going to drink some brunchy drinks and just noodle around in the sketchbook. Like we always say, that sketchbooks are so important. You should always keep one on. You should draw every day, but we don't often get to see what those kind of sketchbooks look like. And Crosland, Dave Crosland, is an avid sketchbook artist, as well as an accomplished illustrator as well. And I'm thrilled to have him. He's another LA guy, and dude, it's just good to have you. He's an old friend. Dave and I actually did paintings for a movie called Dark Hearts. Dark Hearts?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Dark Hearts.
That's when that's a few years ago. It's about when I first
the main
met
character was sane.
What do you have like a finished piece on your table? What's happening there?
Oh yeah, I got up early and I was warming up. So this is what I did.
Nice.
I was compelled. I should go grab it. I was compelled to draw with you the other day when you were doing your first commission. Here, I'm gonna run and grab that drawing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're gonna look at some of Dave's artwork while he's running amok. Crosland, I love the energy in your work, man. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, thank you, man. I gotta get it out somewhere. But yeah, I was watching you. I was here working on my day job on the Cintiq, and then you started doing like a live drawing of something like Lobster Johnson or somebody the other day, and I just had. Oh, it was Delirium. You're drawing Delirium, and I just was like, I gotta draw. I gotta get my hands dirty. So I just went and grabbed this out of my sketchbook and just started throwing ink on it. But it's just a little alien at some kind of like intergalactic taco truck, asking for more glee sauce for his taco. But yeah, I was compelled. I miss the drink and draws times and just hanging out and sketching with friends. So
we miss you too.
Be here. Nice to be back at
it. Dave is I always crack up at Dave's sketches because it feels like
I love that you're doing this.
His sketches are like a page out of a story that already exists. Like his sketches tend to be narrative. So you just kind of get this sketch where you're like, well, oh, what's the story? And there's always kind of a story. I just like that Dave, no matter what, will always just be telling stories. Oh, hey, Crosland, look at the screen. I'm my food. Another avid sketcher.
Hey, what's up?
What are you noodling today? Look at him just messing around,
Jimmy.
going in.
I'm just making a mess here, just getting some lines out. But yeah, what you were saying about how I'm always telling a story, that is kind of a thing. I feel like I have all these things inside my head, all these different worlds and whatnot, and I'll never be able to make enough comic books to get them all out. But in the meantime, I can make a quick drawing from like a random afternoon in some strange universe that's just in my head. So that tends to be where I let out just random ideas for actual stories and just in a sketchbook. And if I like it enough, then it'll eventually find its way into a story eventually. But yeah,
Do you have
that
a
is something I like
constant?
to do in my sketches.
Do you have a constant narrative going on in your head, and then these like we just get to see panels of them, or like as you're sketching, does a story just kind of form in your head, like to give you a reason to draw the thing that you're drawing away?
I think honestly, it's a little bit of both. I've got a little bit of a Henry Darger in the realms of the unreal going on in my head. There's just these kind of characters floating around constantly. But at the same time, if I put down a certain line or make a mark, I might just see something in the way the paint lands. And then, yeah, then a story will come from that. And it's not anything super deep. It's just like a day in the life. And maybe it's a space woman, you know?
I like maybe it's a space woman.
Well, as opposed to, a barista or, I don't know, someone on the bus. Yeah, if it's on the bus, it's a space bus. Hmm. How about you? What do you have, are these characters in your head that we always see you sketching?
No, I very rarely sketch that kind of a thing anymore, like narrative kind of a thing. I'll sketch book ideas and stuff like that, but for the most part, a lot of my sketching is either just stream of conscious where I want to see where a line will take me, or it's like studies and to play around. Like I'm just noodling around looking at a thing of a blues guy right now. So they're either just to kind of warm up, to kind of play, or to observe, but yeah, very rarely I'm just kind of living in a my own work, making it up like anymore. Like that's why I like looking at your sketchbook is kind of like reading a little bit of a choppy graphic novel.
That's the name of my autobiography, choppy graphic novel. Um, yeah,
Y'all ever, question for both. Do y'all ever sort of discover the piece as you're working on it?
in the
In a,
sketchbook,
yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah, it's there's often times where I'll start a sketch, like I think Dave's lying. I think he knew exactly where he was going to go when he started making marks because he's just that confident. I tend to just start kind of all over the place, and then at some point, sometimes I'm going to find some kind of line that makes me happy, and then I can kind of expand on it. But sketchbooks, yeah, man, there's just total freedom. It's either studies, to figure something out. It's either experimentation. Nobody has to see it unless you're going to put it live on YouTube. You know, it's just a time where you can explore. Like as an artist, it's just pure. It's nobody has to see it. You can make some of the dumbest stuff.
That's the truth. But that freedom, I feel like that's where you really find the gold. When you push yourself, when you're just really, I don't know, anxious about making a mark on an actual piece,
Yeah.
you kind of rein yourself in so much. But when you're just throwing down marks in a sketchbook and it really does not matter at all, then you can, you just have no idea the things you'll stumble upon. I mean,
Yeah.
I have I've made comics where I go through an old sketchbook and I end up finding character designs in a sketchbook I did years prior, you know, just because there was a freedom there that was a lot more exciting than me trying to sit down and very front brain, hyper consciously trying to find what does this character look like? Yeah, there's a level of experimentation that just allows for some wild freedom.
And a little, I mean, I tend to do it as well. I think we're both kind of doing it today. We tend to go into the sketchbook without penciling, without kind of a lot of prep.
Oh,
Yeah, you as well. Like you just jump right in with your back tones and then start adding line. Like there's something really extraordinary about kind of just diving in really quick and with no net. With ink, it's not very forgiving.
no, it is not. I love that you and Mahfood on Thursday you pulled out that quote from Bill Sienkiewicz about
Yeah.
the drawing yelling at you and the kid laughing. Yeah, that's pretty true.
When I was young, I
Wow.
loved that quote. I just thought it was like really beautifully psychotic. And then as I've gotten older, it's just become more and more of like just a truth. Like the level of exactness that you're forced to do with a pen because, you have to pay attention more.
Yeah, but I feel
Or you
like
can
that's
just be free and fun like Crosland is over here. Look at that shit. Look how fast he is. Look how fast he is, people. It's ridiculous.
this is my kind of doodle, man. This is just doodling. I yeah, there's something to be said for just the marks that a tool, whatever tool you're using, just makes on its own, you know? And I think when you give yourself over to that, when you just really let go, there's just I think that's where the artistry kind of lies. It's like not totally. There's a balance between skill and focus and all that, and lots of practice. But there's just something to be said for knowing when to make a mark and leave it. And it's not something I always find consciously.
What not that we're going to jump too much into work because we're definitely making it kind of a chill day. But what are you working on right now?
Oh man, what am I not working on right now?
Right.
I'm well, I guess first and foremost, my day job, my full-time job is I'm a character designer on the new animated Hulu series Solar Opposites. So every day from about 10 until 7:30 or 8, I'm just in here just jamming away on character designs for season 2 of that show. And it's such a fun job. I work with such a great team. It's a really cool production, and the crew is just amazing. I feel like I'm learning every day. But yeah, so I do character design for Solar Opposites. I'm also working part time as as a concept artist on a new Netflix series called Intergalactic, and that's a Kid Cudi, Kenya Barris project. So that's really exciting. And I can't really say too much about it. You can look online. It's intergalactic, like enter ENT, um, all one word, and it's just phenomenal. I'm really impressed with just like again the team I'm working with. The people are just really skilled and good at what they do, and I've got a little bit of freedom. Like it's doing concept art. I get to be a little bit more experimental. But yeah, that's been a really good project to be on. I've been on it for a few months now, or maybe 2 months. Who knows? Time. What is it? And then I guess my third job is right. My third job is I'm roughing out. I'm on the rough draft stage of my first graphic novel with Scholastic. I'm doing a book for their Graphice imprint. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm writing and drawing it. It's been kind of a long in coming project, but right now I'm almost at the end of the rough draft stage. So just putting in that work every day. I get up and do a little bit on my book, get in a couple hours each day on my part-time job with Intergalactic, and then I'm working about 8 hours a day full-time on Solar Opposites. So yeah, I'm keeping busy.
For those of you who might be unaware of Dave Crosland and his work, he's been a comic book artist for quite a good number of years. So you can find his comic work as well. But dude is just a stunning illustrator.
Thank you, Jason. You're so kind.
Nah, it's the booze. How's your sake?
Oh, I see. Oh, delicious. It's giving me the courage of a dozen samurai. Man, talk about fast. Look at that. Now, you guys might notice there's a lot of scritching and scratching coming from Jason's pen. That's because he brutalizes his tools. These are super delicate calligraphy pens. They come with a whole pamphlet about how gentle and these graceful line work you can get and writing letters. And Jason just destroys these things. But that's where you get that power. That's where you get that energy.
It's true. I don't take care of things very well.
Yeah, there's something to be said for using a tool the wrong way.
Dude, that's all of these
The
pens
quote
are.
unquote wrong way.
They're calligraphy pens. We're all using them wrong.
Or right.
I don't know if you noticed that when you buy new parallel pens, they now because of the popularity that, like, they're calligraphy pens, but there is a popularity that took off amongst comic book artists and illustrators. And so now when you buy these pens, there's an added thing in the pamphlet that tells you how to draw comics with these pens. Look, comic book artists comic book artists completely changed how the parallel pen is sold.
Change the game. Man, I was so excited to see you were doing this con, but then when you invited me on today, I got really pumped because I've actually been trying to get back in my sketchbook practice. You know, I moved recently, and so my schedule's been a little wonky. But yeah, I like, oh, I got to sketch more, and I started, like, I set up my easel on the other side of the studio and started just sketching on a daily routine again. But yeah, when you invited me to this, I was like, man, now it's like old times.
Yeah,
It's like expecting to turn around and see Ryan over there with his ship's curves.
We everybody out there,
Shout out Ryan,
we were just all used to drawing together, just getting together and drinking and sketching and hanging out, and we have not in quite a while, thanks to the current situation. So this has really just been more of an excuse to hang out with my friends.
And what a good excuse.
I think so.
No, I've been really impressed with the what do you call it? I've been really impressed with your portfolio reviews. I think you got some really insightful, good things to say. Oh.
No, I'm not. What is an Opus 88? You just got Dave a little excited there. I don't know. I don't know what that pen is. I'm kind of excited to try. Look at it now. Great, thanks. Now I'm going to be getting offline and then shopping on Amazon again. I'm like, what new pen? Like art supplies is a little like, you know, pornography to some of us. Where it's like, wait, what? What do you have? What can we get?
Oh man. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a little turned off when I could actually go to an art supply store. It would turn
Dude, when
on
I
me.
go into the art store, oh,
Just walking those aisles, all this stuff.
yeah. Yeah, it's almost profane if I just get to walk through an art store.
I think it has something to do with. Oh, for real, dude. Man, I used to work at an art supply store. Man, you could go to those drawers with the samples. You can see all the stuff that's like, like out of date or stuff that's on clearance that they're getting rid of. And my goodness, nothing.
When did you work at an art store?
Just so much potential for creation. Back when I lived in San Francisco, like 2009, I think. 2009, early 2010. But yeah, it was a killer spot. Flax Art Supply, that's what it was called. Right on Market Street in San Francisco. Great shop. Learned a lot about materials. Just all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's things I use now. Again, like talking about sketchbooks and experimentation. Like just having access to so many supplies. I learned how to paint. You can literally paint with acrylics on just typing. You can just straight up, if you put a thin layer of acrylic on it, you make it strong enough to take paint and to not warp too much. And that's just stuff I learned from working at the art supply store.
You get to be almost, amateur chemist.
Basically.
When I did a life drawing thing, or I did a live art thing with Bill Sienkiewicz once, and we were talking about supplies, and he was showing me these pastels that he had, and he's like, "Yeah, they activate with water, and you can do this stuff." And I was happy because I owned those pastels, and it was like getting to learn something new that you could play with the thing about. And as we're talking about the pastels and the devices, and he's like, "And then if you put lighter fluid with it, it gets this." I was like, shut up. Like, Sienkiewicz is such a Breaking Bad chemist when it comes to art. It was just, it both scares me and exhilarates me. But yeah, that guy knows all of it. Do you hold any of your sketches precious, or do you you just move on and everything's all right?
It's a sketch. If I find something I'm really excited about in it, or if I get, especially on sketches that I do pencil, because sometimes I'll pencil first, then it gets a little precious. Then I might have to, make this a piece, or, slow down a little bit, save it for later even. I have a lot of times where I'll kick off a sketch by doing a batch of pencil drawings, and then go and ink them and paint, But for the most part, sketchbooks are it's just a chance to throw down. Like I have some books that are just miserable looking, but at the time, I was figuring out how the parallel pens work, or learning about water soluble pastels, that kind of stuff. So they kind of vary between total practice and I found something. Let me use this.
That's art in general.
Right?
Like, what just happened?
Always
This
learning.
is great.
Like I said, that's
like what just happened?
okay?
This is great. Yeah, you just kind of all of these little accidental discoveries.
Yeah, totally.
For those of you guys watching, we have a slight
Then you have
delay
to go back and see if you can reverse
going between Dave and I.
engineer it and do it on purpose.
Yeah. Man, do you find that more difficult? Like when you
I blame myself. I blame my environment. I'm up here in the mountains.
when you do nail like a good sketch and a good study, like do you do you find it really difficult to try to reproduce that same level of energy when you're trying to make it turn it into a finished piece?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, that'd be a challenge. And I've noticed that in some of my jobs. Years ago, the sketches will be fantastic. They'll just be so vibrant and energetic. But then when I actually got down to the piece, I either got really attached to the reference, or I even print out a sketch and just work on top of the sketch. Something about tightening everything up, it costs me that energy. So I find that now when I'm more aware of it, I'm able to combat it. But it's kind of a constant battle. You're always trying to balance getting it tight and keeping the energy of the sketch. So, and it varies from job to job. Like things where I'm just doing my own work, like my comics and whatnot, it's way easier to just keep that energy. It's like it's way easier to just kind of get over and just like, oh, you know what, this sketch is actually the finished piece. That's what I'm going to turn in. That's what I'm going to make into the page, because that's where all of it is.
Dude, I've noticed honestly, and specifically in the last year of making digital art, that I have that problem a lot less, because I think often you like, especially digital, since you can kind of mess with it a lot more. I tend to find that I'm wind up just using my original pencils and then just tweaking on top of those, instead of going back in and starting a new piece that's going to be finished, quote unquote. And then I can keep that same energy I had.
Nice. Yeah. I think there's a level of letting go, or just what am I trying to say here? I think there's a level of trusting yourself too, and just like sometimes when I'm doing a job, at least I feel like, oh, I do this according to what someone else wants, but at some point you have to make the piece what you want it to be. And if that means cutting loose and getting real sketchy, or not erasing these lines, not making it super clean, then you kind of got to go with that. So I think in some ways you have to give yourself permission to do that.
Like there tends to be more of a freedom and looseness and a different energy in our sketchbooks.
Say again, Jason.
Do you find do you feel like you have the same amount of energy in your work that you have in your sketchbook? I don't.
Honestly, I haven't. I don't think I've hit that point yet. In my comic ego rehab, I had that energy. And honestly, in the concept art I'm doing for Intergalactic, the Netflix project, that is I feel like I'm getting it there because I'm doing concept art. It's like that's a place where I've really been able to cut loose in the last couple of months or so. But yeah, when I'm on a comic, like a work for hire comic, some of the books I've done, I've done licensed books like Invader Zim. I did a Halo series, and they were cool jobs, but they require you to draw a model. You're drawing a specific character. Luckily, when I was doing Zim, I did have a shot where I wrote and illustrated it, and then I got to do everything in my style. And I did a short story too for Zim, and I was able to do that all in my own style. So in both of those, I was really able to get my raw energy in there. But more often than not, in my recent comic projects, I've had to do, like I said, licensed characters, and with that, you kind of have to draw in the character as they look. Otherwise, people aren't going to know what's happening in the book.
I feel like I tend to tighten up a lot,
And for animation.
Oh yeah.
For animation, it's a little different. For animation, you're drawing, like for character design at least, you're drawing in a specific style of the show. So that's a little more restrained, but you actually find a lot of freedom in that too, because you're getting to draw cartoons. There's little places where you can really show your flair. You can really shine. So yeah, I think it just depends on the job. But as I get finding a little more room, I'm finding a little more room to just be myself in projects. I think it's just part of it's just a comfort thing, comfort with myself and my style.
I would love to be able to just work a graphic novel for a year where the work could be a lot more energetic and free. We tend to get, trapped in deadlines, and then you just kind of have to stiffen up and get the work done. But one day it would be lovely just to make panels that look like this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that it's also something you don't see. You might see years later that you actually were loose,
True.
I've been watching a lot of videos of manga drawing, manga artists, manga creators, and you notice something. I've been reading a lot more manga too since the quarantine started, and you see a lot more just freedom in the lines and energy because they're just taking that stuff so and on such tight deadlines, and the same way, like oh, the my
Yeah.
arc and move on to the next one. Then you probably find that you're actually making some really, really impressive than you might.
Right. Well, we might have to try a little thing just to get your audio back on track. You there, buddy? There he is.
Hello.
Hey.
All right. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at you. You already got a full color.
Are you seeing this?
Goddamn cover you got going over there.
I learned it from watching you, all right?
You didn't learn it from watching me. I don't finish anything.
Look at you. I mean, oh, bollocks, man. You finished, what, 2.5 years of Spawn, a year and a half Empty Zone. You finished things. Hell, already a year of, has it been a year on Philadelphia?
No. It came out.
How long have you been doing Philadelphia?
It came out, it debuted November of last year, and we're starting our second arc now. What are we, July still? Okay, that was that. Okay, so I think August is issue 7.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be, I think, August, September, October, November, December.
Oh my God.
We'll have almost 2 full arcs by the end of this year.
Well, the world better get ready, man. That's a fantastic book. I still have the first arc. I own it. I just haven't finished reading it.
Bastard.
Oh.
So we all used to, and by we all, myself and Dave and Jim Mahfood and another artist, or Sherard Jackson sometimes, who's going to be on tomorrow, and sometimes our artist friend Ryan Ebelt. Remember in the Hollywood studio, we would all go to, for about a year and a half, we would go to this one little bar. Oh my God. The one on Hollywood. Near that one. What was that called, Crosland?
What, the 3 clubs?
There we go.
Not a mouthy. Clubs.
Yeah, 3 clubs. So we would all end up going because my studio.
Yeah, 3 clubs was fun.
Yeah, my studio was right down the street, and so we would all meet there after kind of quote unquote the workday, and it's funny. It's a very, very dark, very cool little bar. And all of a sudden, you would, in this very dark, cool little bar, these guys would show up and all kind of crowd around the corner of one side of the bar and all whip out sketchbooks. And so, in the middle of this kind of dive bar where there might be 3 or 4 people, sometimes there were busy nights, but for the most part, we would all just be drinking heavily and filling out sketchbooks and having fun. But it was just locations, it's just this nice thing to have where you just meet up on a regular basis and just sketch, bitch about your problems, and get your drink on.
Yeah, those were really good times.
I feel like
It was always a nice thing to just have regularly,
Yeah. I feel like there's a certain
Like,
level
you always
of
have
implication.
to look forward to.
When you sketch and I sketch, like we tend to imply a lot more, be less literal, a little bit more energetic. I would like to, I think it would be fun to incorporate more of this kind of a thing in the actual comic art, but I don't know how. I often don't, because I then start second guessing on how well it would be received.
See, I agree wholeheartedly. This is the kind of energy, kind of, like you said, implication I'd like to bring into my comics. And I think I'm going to be able to do some of that. I can't really say much about the Scholastic book, but I mean, I'm in charge of the art. Like, I'm defining how it looks. So there are little things I'm doing in my sketchbook now. And even as I'm writing, mocking up pages, where I'm like, oh, it could be a great place for me to experiment. This could be a great place for me to drop in a little watercolor, go strictly line work. And it helps because I'm just, one of the greatest things about being locked away right now, just there are so many videos of artists working, of professionals and fans just examining comic book art and art in general. There's so much content online now to see how art is making it. I feel like my brain is kind of full of ideas, of things to bring into the work that aren't just my typical go-to.
Yeah, I as silly as it sounds, I think sometimes it just kind of it winds up kind of coming down to guts. Like, how much are you willing to not care because it looks good and you're just going to do it anyway and not worry? I mean, you truly just can't draw or work with the audience in mind, because you never know what the hell the audience is actually going to want. The only way you can truly just kind of do something and be satisfied with it is work for yourself.
Yeah, you said it. And honestly, it's like when you've done so much work, or you've been around for long enough, you kind of have to let yourself just go. It's like, how long am I gonna really fret over this line, or over how clean it is? You kind of, it's almost like I'm compelled to try new stuff, because it's like, when am I gonna do it? Like, if not now, when am I actually gonna push myself to just try some random stuff?
Right.
I have to say, the only thing you guys are really missing from my real life studio experience, because now I have, Cole and Jason. These cameras weren't on, there'd be a lot of one-man, two-way conversations happening.
my sketch is going to be an alcoholic. It's been toned with mimosa.
Neighbors and I never picked you for a man. I'm impressed.
It's brunch, man. It's champagne and orange juice.
Give me strength.
Do, 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 do.
So what have you been listening to in the studio lately? I heard you a little called Quest going on earlier today.
That's just enjoying the day. When I listen to when I'm actually working is it often depends on the project, but since most of the stuff I do is pretty dark, I tend to have kind of harder, like a playlist that I have of kind of harder music that gets me in that mode. And it's a playlist specifically because I tend to listen if I get too much into it, or if it's something new and I want to kind of bop along or rock out to it, I'm not going to work. So I tend to have a playlist that I keep adding on to, but for the most part, it's a playlist that I listen to every day. It's I know what to expect, but it still has a certain level of energy to it. What about you? You listen to a lot of music when you work?
Oh yeah, that's actually I heard that in a productivity hack was to listen to the same song or songs again and again just to get yourself constantly in that mindset. So I'm imagining you're rocking out to a lot of DMX.
I'll admit the mix that I've made tend to have the bodies hitting the floor and things like that.
Jason X. Oh man, that's great. Yeah, I took a dive into the '90s last week. I was having in my high school, or actually, I guess in my college days, but high school era of my life. Some Alice in Chains, Nails and Tool. I think there was even Veruca Salt on the playlist. They're really taking it back. What are you doing? Look at that. That's gorgeous. Oh my God, that's so cool. Will you come do some of that on mine? I'm too lazy to do it myself.
Dude, look at you. You have a painting going on over there. So give these guys a good what for about the need of a sketchbook.
I just...
Because on a regular day, you're like,
again,
oh, I don't have time
to... after incinerators?
Like, I don't have the time to do this, and this. And like on just a casual sketch morning, inevitably we kind of wind up with two fairly, finished looking pieces. Like it's funny how much work you can get done when you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, this is just flow state, It's just like, how can I get myself? Because when I sit down to work, I'm working, and like if I'm on my day job, for instance, sit down to work, I'm in work mode. But I got to get out of that. How do I get out of that headspace and into the fun headspace? How do I get to the sketch space? I don't know. I part is keeping this way of making art. Like I got up early and I did some sketch before the cameras even came on, and so that I'd be loosened up. It's like I'm not worried about this. If I make a mistake, oh well. It's like if you can push those buttons and kind of cue that attitude in yourself before you start working, I think it gives you a better chance of having that throughout the day.
I like that. See, you guys, keep sketchbooks. It's like constantly keeping the engine warm.
Seriously, it's no lie, man. I got a little nervous today when I woke up because I'm human and I get nervous, believe it or not. Um, but yeah, I got a little nervous about doing this, and I was like, wait a minute, I've been drawing all week, and it just dawned on me. I went about my day. I made my coffee and I got ready. But yeah, it's like when you're just constantly in practice, when you're just constantly flexing those muscles, it's like anything. It's like jogging, it's like lifting weights, it's like learning a hand or a kata or something. It's like if you're constantly doing it, by the time you're in that fight or on that stage or at your desk, there is no thinking, because you've already been doing it. You're just beyond warmed up. And so then you can just let go and feel and make marks. And that's the goal, man. That's that flow state.
I love it. I'm going to currently destroy the hell out of a micron.
My pen's not allowed to mimic pen sounds.
Are you mimicking pen sounds?
Taking your pen sounds is unreal. It's just like ASMR over here. I'm about to take
I love the
it
fact,
now.
dude, we got a question that asked if we
scratchy
ever mess
pen.
with Sumi ink, and I'm literally open up my Sumi ink. Yes, and I absolutely love it. I'm about to use it in the wrong way, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mess with that Sumi ink. Actually, I'm about to kill a bottle of it that I have over in the shelf. It's almost done. Just like this pen is about done. Next. There we go. Yeah, Sumi ink is great. It's pretty easy to find when you're out and about. You get it, it flows great. It does really interesting things. If anybody watching this is like curious about kind of inks to use and all that good stuff, all that tech talk, seriously, just try everything. Like when I was coming up and I was learning, I would just buy ink and just see what worked, see what gave me a dense black, see what gave me good gray tones. Like don't be afraid to just experiment. If you got some old ink sitting around the house, break it out, see what it does for you.
Oh,
I have some fountain pen ink where if you add it to water, it separates into the colors that make up the black. So I'll add it to a wet page and it'll turn into these blues and golds and like it looks like an oil slick. Like all these colors just come pouring out of it when I add a little water. So
are you talking about Pelican?
yeah, experiment, play. Oh, I think so. That little glass bottle.
Yes,
the blue lid?
it pops out. Like not only do you get these crazy
Yep,
weird
Pelican.
blues and stuff, but you get these yellows. Like you're like, where the fuck did this yellow come from? Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
My mom yelled at me yesterday for cursing too much on camera. Hi, Mom. Love you.
You shouldn't swear so much. Hi, Jason's mom.
No, that's not what we want to put it here.
Don't feel too bad. My neighbors were having a safely distant movie night. They were doing a little projector film in the yard, and I wanted to chat real quick. And I was just swearing up a storm. I realized there was a 5-year-old just hanging out right there. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Just old enough to repeat the stuff you said.
Exactly. He was writing it down. I looked over and he was taking notes. I was like, "Oh boy."
He's taking notes. He's like, I've never even heard these words. When you transitioned to digital, any setbacks, or did you take to it like a duck in water? I took to it like a duck only because it was a deadline situation. I look at switching from digital to traditional, and I don't know. It needed to happen. I was doing multiple projects. I needed to speed things up, so that was and then honestly, the iPad Pro was I have a Cintiq and all this other. but it was the iPad Pro and that pencil that just really felt more natural. That was probably the only way that I could transition more comfortably to digital. And it wasn't really like a duck out of water. It was just, or a duck in water. It was, I don't know. I was set on trying to at least mimic what I was doing so I wouldn't lose any of my own style and fun. It just took a lot of work. But like I was talking about yesterday, I just look at digital as it's a whole other medium, and I'm just enjoying exploring another medium. I want to combine it more with my traditional work. But right now, and I have in this, I would say issue 7 of Philadelphia, it really kind of starts. That's the thing with making so many comics. You guys, the readers really kind of get to see your experimentations because there's no time to really do it on your own. Dave also does digital. Do you usually use Sumi ink for splatter? Splatter, I can kind of use everything. Crosland's done VR 3D art, the weirdo.
Yeah. It's only weird until you do it.
It's true.
I've done a lot of digital work. I've done a lot of digital work over the years, and I was hesitant, but when I got into animation back in, I think 2012, late 2011, I got my first in-house gig on a cartoon, and I had to learn. I had to go digital, so that just kicked open the doors for me, and it took a minute. It took a minute to adapt to it, but once I got more comfortable doing it for my day job, then I was able to get comfortable doing it for my personal work. Like when I had some time to just sit down with the tools and the programs, that was where I was like, oh wait, I can just experiment. I stopped trying to draw the way I thought I should in a computer, and I just started drawing and trying different brushes and seeing what happened. So yeah, there's a learning curve for sure, but it's just like Jason said, it's just like any tool, and there's so much you can do. It's just like anything. It's like, I don't know, I feel like Neo in Matrix, I'm just like, I know Kung Fu. It's like, I know digital Kung Fu and I know wet media Kung Fu.
I love it. Jim said we were in risk of being kicked out. What could you put that back up, Nicole? Great jeopardy of getting kicked out of the secret cult if you stick with that digital stuff. The Elder Tribe. Fuck your Elder Tribe. Again, sorry, Mom.
The elders just need to get iPods. You send those elders iPads, and
there you go.
They'll change their tune.
I feel at this point, with all this mixed media, I'm pretty sure we can still have a little chat with those elders and still win. Digital doesn't affect your traditional art. If anything, it actually kind of made me more emboldened, because you get used to digital art. You can always just tap and undo. So you start becoming more bold in your lines and your mark making, because you can always either undo it or tweak it easily. What I found is that once I was spending a good amount working digitally, and then I jumped back on paper, I was scaring myself, because I would still be making these same kind of bold marks that I hadn't really done traditionally. Like I was a lot more timid traditionally, until the computer kind of gave me this false confidence where I'm just like, yeah. So I just try to make it work for me. But now I try to keep that. I like how bold some of it can be, and I have whiteout, so I can fix anything.
There you go. And you can tweak it once you take it in the computer. It's just like there's so much back and forth. There's so much mixed media. I mean, you can do a piece to a stage, print it, work it again, scan that, work on it again. It's just like it's endless,
Yeah, I think it's one of the things I enjoy.
And
about
it's just another tool.
McKeon's work.
Just another tool.
Yeah, I like McKeon's work. He goes back and forth quite in a lot of his books and pieces.
Oh yeah, yeah. McKean. I mean, he's one of those groundbreaking guys. You know,
Oh
there's
yeah.
a lot to be said for taking advantage of all the tools. Take a step back, like days like in a sketch with you. It's nice to take a step back and see, oh, I some things in my mouth, and that's what these sketchbook times are just so.
Yeah. Well, sir, we're looking at about 5 minutes left into this here event. I'm just kind of giving you a heads up on the clock, but thanks, man. Thank you for coming out and having some sake. Oh, I don't know if you heard all that. We're about 5 minutes out. We're about 5 minutes out from ending it, and I just wanted to thank you for coming out and having some sake and sketching with me again.
Oh, dude, thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure. I'm sorry if my video signal was a little choppy. Like I said, I'm calling you from my mountain bunker. So.
Nope, you did basically a cover, and it's a little upsetting. So,
if anybody had any technical issues, I apologize. Nicole, for getting me in here too. Thanks for getting the 1 and 2 side.
Let me see what we got here. All right.
Oh, your piece is beautiful, man. Quit your whining. Look at that.
There you go, guys. Sketchbooks. I get a thing with size, so I kind of did mine in the middle. There we go. There you go. Thanks, man. This was kind of a productive sketch experience.
There you go. People, a closer look.
Nice. That's it. That's what we did.
Yes, man.
Oh, look at you. Oh, thanks, man. I think my blues player actually looks a little like you, dude.
Hey, thanks, Cass.
I think my blues guy looks like Cass. All right, Dave. Thanks, brother. Cheers. Clink. And we're going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back and review some portfolios. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and thanks, Dave, for being here.